prepare a fair trial. Brendan Banfield back in court for week 2 of his murder trial. Right now, the father of the woman he's accused of killing is on the stand, or was on the stand. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Annie Yu. Just within the last half hour, Christine Banfield's father briefly testified. Joining us now to talk about this and what happened and played out in court is Katie Lusso, who's been watching every moment of this. Christine's dad taking the stand was a moment that we were waiting for, but it wasn't very long, was it?
It was a total of 7 minutes, and it was really surprising. I was just talking to our legal analyst, Frank Salvato, about this, and he was saying, you know, how quickly they got through this, right? So they have Gary Benson, Christine's father, take the stand, and the prosecution asked him about Christine's childhood, specifically about some injuries she would get as a child. Nosebleeds, she frequently got bruised very easily, that they had to take her to doctors, that she just would get hurt a lot. She would have to wear a lot of protective gear of nature. He said that, you know, she wasn't involved in a lot of sports, but when she was, she would wear helmets, you know, gear to protect her. You might be wondering why this might be relevant, and we obviously are just speculating at this point, but Frank says he thinks they're maybe trying to paint the picture that she is not the type of girl who is into the things that the defense is about to say she might have been into. We're talking about the fetish website, the rough physical relationships, things like that. That's what Frank says he thinks
they're alluding to.
Prosecution was alluding to. And then, you know, we saw this kind of interaction between Brendan and his defense attorney, John Carroll, on the cross. So the judge said, do you have any cross-examination questions? And John initially hesitated, and then there was some quiet, some ruffling of papers, and then John got up and he asked Christine's father, did Christine as an adult play any sports? Gary said he wasn't sure. And then he specifically asked, did she ever participate in any Tough Mudders, obstacle runs? Again, trying to paint the picture that maybe she wasn't this weak person of sorts.
Right.
So it was really interesting. He was off the stand in less than 10 minutes. And, you know, I think we were all expecting a lot more emotion from that, but it was quick and it was straight to the point about some of her injuries as a child.
Okay, and following his taking the stand, they did wrap up court an hour early today. We spent a lot of the day speaking with a forensic expert, a DNA expert, Iris. What did she have to share?
Yeah, so we heard from her a lot. We heard from her yesterday, and then we heard from her today again. And right before she wrapped up, she talked a lot, she was asked a lot specifically, about whether or not Ryan would have been able to get up off the ground after he had been shot. Remember, he was shot twice, once by Brendan Banfield, once by Juliana Perez-Magalis. Both have said they fired shots at him. So the question was, could Mr. Ryan have been able to get up off the ground after that first initial shooting? And she testified, yes, it was possible. It was obviously a rapidly fatal shot, as they described it throughout this, but said at that moment, yes, he could have been able to get up. And then the follow-up question was, would he have been able to get up that second time? And she said likely no, because one of the bullets hit his spine. And then a follow-up question to that was talking more about his arms being crossed when investigators found him. And so let's be clear, this is from one investigator who watched the body camera footage of those initial first responders. He said that in that body camera footage, you could see that Joseph Ryan's arms were crossed. And the question was, could he have fallen naturally like that? They're trying to allude to the point of whether or not Brendan manipulated the bodies.
Right, whether there was movement. When you spoke about that second shot, it reminded me of the medical examiner when they were asked about that second shot. Was it the fatal shot, right? Which Juliana did fire. Yeah. Okay, a lot unfolding on day 5, going into our second week. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I'm sure it will be many more people on that witness stand.
The defense testimony will begin.
Yes, all right. Katie Lusso, thank you so much.